Yeah, I think so. BRSR is a good starting point because we have seen empirically across the world that the voluntary disclosure does make a statement and does inspire others to follow. So BRSR obviously has got a component of green as well. So I think one of the things which today companies have begun to understand is that the confluence of the sustainability reporting along with the social and governance reporting is actually the path in the right direction, because today the world values such organizations. So whether it is in terms of attracting investments or even today customer preferences are actually based on what is their organization's ESG score, which is nothing but a BRSR thing. So I think it's a good start by making it voluntary, and it's got actually ripple effect as well, because today if you're going to report a BRSR or even an ESG, you're actually talking about scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 emissions. So there is going to be a ripple effect as well. So a larger organization is also going to be bothered about not about themselves but the entire supply chain as well. So you're going to look at the demand side and the supply side, and I think this is going to accelerate the adoption of green as well. So it's going to be difficult because I think if you take an organization, they can quickly adhere to it. But for the ecosystem to actually come in, you may actually want to look at a bit of a starting period. So give them a trial. Definitely ask them to participate in the first year, but based on what they've been able to achieve, bring in drivers and accelerators so that by year 2, year 3, they're able to come together as well. Okay, so I think it's a very tough question to answer, but I think our take is that yes, I agree with you. I think somewhere down the line, carbon negative should be a scheme of things. But I think today, given the the emission polluters or whatever you want to call India or across the world, carbon neutrality is a good starting point. The only thing what we advise the market is don't get too caught up on carbon, because today the net zero can be achieved either through carbon or energy or water or waste. So what we're recommending to the market is have a calibrated approach. So things like water and waste are not only the low-hanging fruits, but also critical for India. Because today, I think water, especially, I think is the next capital for India. So you need to focus on that. So carbon energy is definitely yes, and because carbon energy also depends on how the government or the private enterprises are actually investing into renewables, etc. Right. So that's the first part of the point. I agree. Ideally, I think carbon negative is required, but we would feel that carbon neutrality is not a bad starting point, right? Now, coming into the carbon credit, good and bad. I think by having a scheme of carbon credits, as a net sum game, it actually is going to be beneficial, right? But one needs to only watch out that the offsets don't become a greenwashing. That's one thing which we need to tackle. But as a net sum game, it's going to be positive. Very frankly, I'm not a building material expert to talk about the longevity of building, but yes, I think today the way we look at green buildings, obviously you incorporate green at design stage, then you actually start operational efficiency as well, and you start redoing or retrofitting the building. Now, the good news is that today when you're talking about retrofits or in talking about redevelopment, a lot of green standards, including LEED, we give a lot of weightage to how you recycle the materials, right? So if you're going to reconsider or redevelop something, we're also putting an accent on what is the net effect of the resource as well. So to that extent, we are safeguarding that even if the redevelopment happening, it does not put a stress on the resource. But I take your point. Is this push coming at the expense of longevity of the buildings? That's a question which I think you need to ask the architect.